Hello and welcome to Unrivaled Experts, where we get the best of the best to share their insider secrets so you can get a shortcut to living a better life. I'm your host, Chris Gunkel, and joining us today is Lois Hollis. Lois is a shame, guilt educator, a counselor, and a filmmaker, and she strives to shift opinions on the taboo subjects of shame and guilt. And with 50 years of experience in health and 15 years of researching and counseling, she brings new knowledge of these misunderstood conditions. And Lois tells us that no matter how we have been hurt, we have the opportunity to live with joy and love. Shame and guilt do not belong to us. Today, she's here to talk to us about how to overcome feelings of shame and guilt. Lois, thank you for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thank you and welcome. And what a great way to start 2022.
Absolutely. And I'm going to jump right into these questions. I gave a quick introduction here and an overview of what you do, but can you tell us who is it that you can help the most?
I can help anyone who wants to be helped. I have clients that are kids to grandmas because everyone carries the shame guilt energy. And as you say, I say energy, not emotion. So we are all gifted the shame guilt energy from our culture. So no matter what country you're in or what age you are, if you want to heal and be more successful, this information is for you.
Perfect. And we've talked, we know that we're talking about shame guilt. Can you, as the problem, can you tell us why this is a problem? How does this affect people?
I'm going to make an analogy really quickly. What happens to your computer when you get a computer virus? Well, nothing works, correct? And you're like ready to throw it out the window, but you got a virus removal program. Okay, that's what shame guilt energy does to us. It offsets our mind. We're in confusion and fear. It offsets our emotions, turns our positive to negative, like our intuition is our anxiety. Our compassion becomes our depression. And it also, the energy affects our meridians within our physical body. So it messes all of us up mentally, emotionally, and spiritual. And this is what I want to give you today, is that there's no good shame and there's no good guilt. And they're the same energy because shame's in the unconscious and guilt's in the conscious mind. So when you say, oh, shame is this and guilt is this, it makes you crazy. So I'm telling you, shame, guilt is the same, and we just don't want any of it. And none of it is healthy. If you want to feel guilty about something, use the word remorse or reform. But we don't carry guilt and shame. It doesn't belong to us.
This can affect literally every aspect of our lives then. So how can we fix this? What's your solution to this?
Okay, the solution is different than what's out there, and that's why it hasn't worked since Adam and Eve. Okay, so it's not your fault. It's culture's fault. So the first thing is to know shame, guilt, not shame and guilt. Shame, guilt is not ours to own or to give. When you're in fear, when you're in shame, you go, oh, that doesn't belong to me. But what do I feel? I feel depression or anger. Okay, work on your depression and anger. You cannot heal shame and guilt. You just have to kick it out of yourself. And if someone shames you, you give it back to them. It's not yours to own or to give. That's the solution. Now, there's steps to get rid of the shame you're carrying, and I can help with that. But the first thing to know, it doesn't belong to you, and take shame, guilt out of your vocabulary. Like, it's such a shame it's rained today, I can't have a barbecue. No, it's sad or unfortunate. Get rid of shame and get rid of guilt.
So what are some of the common mistakes people make when they're trying to overcome this energy and overcome these emotions?
Because it's too heavy. I don't know what to do. Because when you're in shame, guilt, you don't see a solution. So write down these words. Shame, guilt is not ours to own or to give. So when you feel the shame or guilt, You're also feeling all your negative emotions. Look at that piece of paper. Post it on your refrigerator. Shame, guilt doesn't belong to me. It's an energy that's put upon humanity. Humanity is not better for shame, guilt, okay? Humanity is worse. So we just have to kick it out and have this piece of paper. Shame, guilt is not ours to own or to give. Visit my website and you can get much more information. But the first step is to know shame, guilt doesn't belong to you, and you are capable of kicking it out of your life.
Now, you mentioned earlier that your solution is different than other solutions that are out there. So can you tell me, what is some of the worst advice that you hear other people giving when it comes to overcoming shame, guilt?
Okay, I saw a book that was printed somewhere in the 1920s, How to Shame Your Kid into Obedience. That's the worst advice ever.
Wow.
But people
Okay.
do that. At least they were honest. I give them the credit for being honest. What has the school system done? Oh, you stupid kid. What is your mother going to say? What is your father going to say? You'll never get into college. I mean, this is normal vocabulary. So you have to really see it for what it is. And it comes from your mother, your father, your grandmother, the priest, the pope, the teacher, your friend. Everybody does it because it's normal, supposedly. Shame is not normal and guilt is not normal. And you don't need guilt to be a happy, law-abiding, God-wonderful person. We can be loving. We need to step up. Like, I'm not doing this because I feel guilty if I don't. I'm doing this because I love my neighbor and I want to help her. How's that?
Can you give us an example then of how you've helped somebody? What kind of state they're in when they came to you and how they came out the other end?
Okay, I have a zillion testimonies, but one of them was a person that came to me and he said, I've been to 5 therapists and they all say I have to love myself, but you're the one that taught me how. And that's the problem. People don't tell you how. I'm telling you how by getting rid of the shame, guilt. Also, one of my clients was in severe, severe depression and with cancer. And I helped her. And of course, she did the physical things to get, heal the cancer. But the main thing was she was taking a lot of insults from her in-laws. And I taught her how to say no. No, I don't take that. That is not mine to own. Please rephrase your question and your answer. And she wouldn't accept the shame, guilt that other people were dumping on her. And within 6 months, she was well, happy, and very empowered woman, and she's teaching her grandkids to do the same.
Wow, very nice. So what's something that we can do in the audience? What can we do in the next 48 hours to help get us on this path to
Okay, first of all, recognize when you don't feel good when someone says something to you or you are downing yourself. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Look at it as shame, guilt, energy that doesn't belong to you. And say, oh, I can kick that out because it doesn't belong to me. Like you can't kick out your nose or your mouth. You can kick out shame, guilt, energy. It doesn't belong to you. And then if you're depressed, well, you can work on the depression energy, but never, never use shame, guilt. And I'm an educator because we don't even know what shame, guilt behavior is because we've been so culturalized. So first thing is shame, guilt doesn't belong to us, and it's not for us to give or to receive. That's huge.
That is huge. And like you said, we're getting this from either giving or receiving, this energy from all around us, and it affects every one of us in our society. So I think this is an important thing. We're only able to really touch the tip of the iceberg here. So I want to give people an opportunity to learn from you a little bit more. So how can we find you? How can we learn more from you?
My website, Lois Hollis, LoisHollis.com, has probably around 80 podcasts. So you can hear a lot of information and it's all free. My new film that makes shame guilt visible so you know how it exists and how it affects us is now just released. It's 15 minutes, episode 1. I'm Good Film.com.
Perfect.
I'm
And
good.
will put
I'm good. I'm good film.com.
perfect. And I'll put those notes or those URLs in the show notes so everybody has that. So make sure you check her out. Lois Hollis. Get rid of that shame guilt. Feel free. Make that life a little bit better. Lois, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Blessings.
Thanks for being here and checking out our latest amazing guest. Be sure to head over to unrivaledexperts.com to learn from more incredible experts so you can get a shortcut to living your best life.